Hey and welcome to Beyond the Comic Con with me, Level Up Leroy. Today, been joined by a true chameleon in the industry, from topping the charts with UK R&B group MN8 to bringing some of the most iconic creatures to life in the Star Wars sequel trilogy and Solo, of course. Please welcome the incredible Dee Tails. So here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, my pal, Dee Tails is in the house. How you doing, Dee?
How you doing? Yeah.
Peace. It's good to see you, man. And by the way, thank you so much for doing this. We talked about this when I set up the podcast initially. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get you on. I gave you a day, and then I went and lost my voice and was ill. And you very graciously fitted me back in a week later. So, you know, I know how busy people can be and time schedules and things like that. So for you to do this for me, man, just shows you all what a great guy he is. He's a man of the people.
Not a problem. Now, the real reason is because I missed you, man. I haven't seen you in ages.
I know. It's been so long. I'm saying 2025 has been a bit of a year for me. Sort of really kicked off my career with what I'm doing. And then also got married. And all of that stuff takes planning. And I just haven't been about. But as we were saying, with this podcast, so Beyond the Comic Con, it's all about me wanting to talk to my people and the people that I meet along the way. And Dee, you were one of the guys that I met along the way. We met at Star Wars Celebration Europe.
That's
and
right.
It was for the virtual cantina night.
Yes, Spencer Yaris's crew.
Yes,
Rich.
And I need to get Spencer on this podcast. Spencer, we will sort it. We've been WhatsApping. Yeah, maybe we'll get a little. This is going to sound dirty. It's not supposed to. Maybe we'll get a little freeway going. We'll get Dee on as well at some point. Have Spencer on as well. He's the man.
The three amigos.
And you know, he was like, "Yeah, we're going to get Dee's going to come and host. You're going to DJ and." Oh my gosh! Well, we hit it off straight away. What a night!
Yeah, and you had the video. You had the video and the mix done ages ago. What was it? The Imperial March. I've got something for you.
Yeah. You shared that on your socials recently, and
yes,
man, thank you. Because as soon as you shared that, I was like, "Oh, what's happened here?" My socials went bang, 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 bang. New follower, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." So yeah.
Well, I promised I'd do it. I just wanted to wait for the right time.
I felt like it was. Yeah, it went down a storm. Yeah, I know. I was so chuffed that I could surprise you with that because, like, I think you came on stage. I got introduced. I was like, yeah, okay, no worries. I'll bring you on. I've got some music. I'll walk on music, and then played that, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah, you played it as the video as well. But
I
had to do the rap. Had to jump on and do the rap.
I mean, dude, any plans? We're sort of kind of seeing lots of stuff with bands reforming and stuff like that. Can we get a little MN8 magic? Do you think that might ever happen to get the guys together? Yeah, I ain't doing that dancing anymore.
Yeah, let's just remix what we got.
Excuse me, you're killing me. Yeah, we'll keep going with the remix. Oh man! So we got to work together though at that event. You were there signing because you've been in,
and Samantha was there.
Yes, lovely Samantha. She wants to come on the show as well.
Oh, bless her.
First ever female.
And I met some of the most lovely people that roll with Winter Eve. Yeah. I remember seeing them in LA and they weren't sure if I was going to remember them. I'm like, hey. Yeah, lovely crew.
Yeah, those Winter Eves that Spencer puts on are just so cool, like the party vibe that they have, and mixing this little it's like a Star Wars soiree with a bit of music and some signings and just good people.
Yeah, and they look after everybody, not just the artists, but look, the people that they're with. Like they'll do a road trip and they'll go various places and they'll get signings, or they'll have a road trip that starts and loads of adventures and then it ends with the signing, you know. And then even I'm getting to meet people that I saw in Mandalorian or something. I'm like, oh wow, and it's just smiles and everyone's just so lovely. The signing we had in the States was at Scum and Villainy on is it Hollywood Boulevard?
Oh, you've been there?
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times now.
Really want to visit that place.
Yeah, one of Spencer's events. If he does it again, make sure you can actually try and tie into some of that. Lovely venue, like I said, lovely people. Oh yeah, and there's some karaoke at the end. But no, those events, I love them. I think it might be at the next one, not this year, but the following year.
Oh,
I know that I was floated around just before Christmas, you know. So I'm like, not next year. What you mean, 2027? Okay,
2027. So that could be the
2028.
Could we?
What are we in now? 26, aren't we?
26 now. I know. It's
also
always
27. So 27. Oh my god, I'm getting.
Which means there would be some sort of, should we say, quote unquote, celebration around that kind of area, because that's where it's going to be held in LA. April time. So
possibly,
you know,
things are crossed.
You do really well out there, man, because everyone loves to see that smile, loves to come talk to you, and you are so friendly and gracious with the fans, and the fans love you for it. Just so anyone that's listening, they can kind of get to grips. If they don't already know, we've been in Star Wars Solo.
Yes. Force Awakens. Rogue One. And The Last Jedi.
So at this point, you're basically Star Wars royalty.
No, I'm the luckiest fan on earth. I mean, and also it was a strange thing because the agent I had at the time had a phone call from the creature department and said, "Oh, Lucasfilm want Dee for another project. Is he available?" And before she finished that sentence, it's like, "Oh, it's not Star Wars, but it's still Lucasfilm family." And then that's when I found out that I was going to be working on Willow.
Wow.
Yeah. But that is for me. I think the most moving thing about the whole experience is when you get a phone call and they're saying, "Are you available?" Because then it's like you have something to contribute to something of that immense scale that you grew up with. So it's having that association to the continued story or to that franchise. And it's been a strange one too, because you've had the movie sequels, and in between that you've had Rogue One and you've had Solo. You know, so for me, it's been a bit of there are two branches where the franchise movies are still going to stand up, while Rogue One and Solo seem to do okay. I know Solo had a bad start, but Solo is seen as one of those movies now which are like a fun summer movie, but also it has a lot of those elements from a Clone Wars type thing happening in it.
And we get that, you know, look, spoilers everyone, Solo's been out for a little while. we get that Maul scene at the end as well and stuff. So and we're now getting a new Darth Maul animated series, and people have always talked about like, oh man, I would have loved to have seen how Solo would have evolved. So, you know, there could be aspects of this going on in the background of this Solo.
I think it's one of the best things that they have sitting there with the possible ready to go, but it all depends on who's controlling that ship.
Yeah.
You know, and where and who wants to write that next chapter, and if they have a connection with the first Solo movie to know exactly where to take it. You got Larry and John Kasdan, you know, and Ron Howard. Bring those guys back. You know, you haven't even got to ask me. I'll be like, yep. I'm not saying yes to much, but if they make Solo 2 happen and I get that call, then for sure.
Oh,
you
man,
know,
I would love to see that played out in the trilogy, get its trilogy that it deserved, because those actors were all amazing. So if Dave Filoni and Llewellyn Brennan are listening, because it's Kathleen has moved on now, we've got some new appointed president and chiefs creative officers, haven't we? So I know Filoni's listening. He's always on the podcast, and
and don't forget to hook a brother up.
And by the way, you know, if you need a DJ in a cantina, I'm available for hire, and I'll wear the prosthetics that Dee wears as well. Maybe I'm thinking a DJ and an MC.
Well, say that again.
A DJ and an MC, me and you. Like a DJ, you can MC, like drop some Star Wars rhymes. I think we might have a thing here, bro.
Do you know how perfect that would have been? I mean, JJ did that all over the Cantina sequence. I mean, there are people from all kinds of bands in that room.
In that masquerade, yeah.
Yeah, and most of which that I kind of saw them talking to him, but I didn't know who they were until afterwards, and say, "Oh, did you know this person? This band was dressed up like this and blah blah blah." It's doable, dude. It's doable, but it's If it's for something like that, if it's something like you know, making Solo 2 happen, and those actors all on board, I would leap for joy to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that story played out, Emilia Clarke's character, oh my goodness, that's the driving force all of its own. Everybody else is just being Han, Lando, and the Wookiee and Chewie, you know, and the Falcon, you know. But it's, I would love to, but I think like we had with A New Hope, there's enough time for a gap. We don't even know if it's coming or not, you know. Let's say, you know, if it does come, let's hope it comes at the right time, made the right way by the right people.
That would be lovely. And so when you're doing this, so obviously you're in loads of prosthetics. You are covered up. We don't get to see that glorious face of yours. But what's been the most sort of non-glamorous thing that's happened to you while you've been dressed as like a high-ranking alien or a droid? Like, what's like any weird kind of moments where you're like, you're not Dee?
All those unglamorous moments.
Some standout moments where you've basically been in costume and no one knows who you are, and it's like,
oh no, that was one of the most surreal things about The Force Awakens, right? So I'm Kratinus, and I've got that head on, and it's a foam head, so it's a pull on. I can see people out of this mask, but they can't see me, whether I'm looking at them or unless I point at them and laugh or do something. but having that advantage, it means that I can be funny with Tom Bell being Prashy and know that I'm looking to see, is this landing? Am I making you laugh? Because that was my mission for Lupita Nyong'o, and to make her laugh, and I was able to do that. But it was that whole essence of entertaining the entire set while Tom and I are still figuring out the boundaries of how our characters perform, you know, but we'll entertain the whole set. Why? Because can you imagine if you were someone working on that set and you saw two dudes doing that and you're thinking, wow, I'm on the Star Wars set. You know?
Yeah, and now I'm seeing aliens do something as well and interact.
Yeah, you know, and as if in the back of my mind, I'm thinking if Jim Henson was there, he'd be nodding, thinking, yeah. And it's all of those things that come into play that you allow yourself to do. So you're not sitting there thinking, okay, when they say action, what am I going to do? No, I'm fleshing it out. I'm playing it out. And the beautiful thing about that whole process is that everybody's in the same boat. You know, you might have seen these examples about drama schools and performing arts, and they have that trust game, and someone stands on the stage and their friends are waiting down below, get ready to catch them, and they say, well, you have to trust that they're gonna catch you. If you went to college with some of the people I did, that would have been a bit tricky.
Yeah.
But that whole thing is about knowing that you're going to trust them to catch you. They're going to trust you to take that leap. Yeah. Everybody on stage in theater, you're trusting the people around you, the crew around you, the lighting, the sound. Yeah. They're trusting you're going to hit your mark. You're going to do your thing. Yeah. So there's such a big soup of trust which is involved, that when you go on to, what I've always done is take that on set with me, so that I actually have something to give back while I'm finding my way. And there was nothing bigger than being able to do that on Star Wars. But the thing is, when I took the head off, yeah, no one points at you and they go, you're that guy, or whatever. And I remember seeing the sound guy, Orin, you know, he'd cracked I'd spoken to him beforehand, and when I was on set, he didn't see me in the head, but he was always laughing and stuff like that, and blah, 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 and whatever. And then when I didn't have it on, it was just, yeah, how you doing? Yeah. Just a polite, how you doing, or whatever. And at the end of the day, when he found out it was me, he said, that was you! You know, because
you're the guy.
Yeah, he thought I was an essay in the background type of thing. He didn't know I was part of the CFX.
Oh wow!
And having that to bring how to bring a set to life.
I mean, that's kind of a great compliment as well, isn't it? It's like, oh, I had no idea. Like you were just this guy, but being this creature and doing this alien stuff is like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, and that was you. Oh, how did that come from you? Like, it's just incredible.
That's why at, what was it, one of those celebrations, I think it was the last celebration they had in the UK, I was invited along by Panther Tracks. Yeah, crew of Panther Tracks. So much love. What's that? Yeah.
We love Panther Tracks. I mean, that's my other podcast that I'm on. So shout out to Dizzle and Disc.
Oh, lots of love to both guys. Lots of love to Panther Tracks. They always look after me. Bless them.
Good guys.
And they got me into that one. And so I'm walking around and I find my spot. My spot is hanging out with the droids. The guys in the droid pit, you know, they're the same guys that work on the films and stuff like that. But I just got to hang out with them and interact with some of the pit droids. But just walking around, I could do that because nobody really knows my face.
Yeah.
But a few people did know my face.
Well, yeah, I said yes, but you are pretty well known, man.
Well, you know, some people know about some of these things, but
you know what these Star Wars people are
not so much the international.
We know.
But yeah, and I got stopped by a few people, and a few people were hoping that they were going to run into me and things like that. So I signed a few things for them for free. That's what I love doing. I love doing that for free if they just stop. Because I know everybody else is charging it and they can't leave. Right, so while I'm signing for free and holding up all my shopping bags, they're just stuck there. Right? And I remember seeing Charlie from Explore the Force.
Yeah,
and she wasn't expecting to see me. I was walking around, saw her walking in. I was like, Charlie. So just being able to do that, I think the thing for me is also, as a fan, being able to be at a convention. Just literally being at a convention is mind-blowing for me. They were advertised in the back of some of the comics I used to get when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was blown away thinking, wow, there's a place you can go where it's just comics. You know, I lived for comics when I was a kid.
I did. That's what got me into this comic books.
Yeah, you know, now it's not just about comics, it's about so many different things, and advertising for movies and things, signings and all kinds of things. And I'm out one, you know, and I'm walking around and I'm enjoying myself and I'm buying stuff that, you know, you can't normally get anywhere else. And it could be the most minuscule thing, whatever. Like, you know, like on those Nike trainers, and you have a tag right at the front, and it's just like a reflective Nike tick.
Yeah.
Right? They had some of those, but they weren't reflective, but it had like an Imperial logo, Jedi Knight logo. I was like, I'll have a bunch of those. But just being able to do that and have that freedom to do that, you know, and make someone's day. I met this guy who was hoping to run into me because he wanted me to meet his son. And so I met his son, I had a little chat with him, and just his eyes just lit up. It was just being able to give that to any fan of any age. It's like, that's what I would want, you know.
Yeah. Oh my God. But it's like you are, obviously we talked about just getting into Star Wars Celebration, having a little walk around, but you are attending conventions as a guest, and people are coming to your table, and if they're not catching you walking the floor at celebrations, they are actually spending their hard-earned cash to get your autograph and to have that opportunity to take a selfie and meet you and stuff. Anytime I've seen anyone with you, they've had the best interaction. You really get 110. But and I can see a little piece of artwork behind you now. So, you know, there might be a spoiler here, but attending all these conventions, what's maybe the most unique gift or piece of fan art that you've received? I mean, anything out of the ordinary as well? Like I've been on stage.
That behind me is by a very, very good, very dear friend of mine, Ruth. Based in, where is she? I think she's in Chamonix. Yeah, little signature there. She drew that for me, right? But I know her from way back in the day when I met her husband, Neil McNabb, who's a pro snowboarder. And he was coaching the British team in Chamonix. Yeah. And while he was coaching them, he was running a snowboarding camp where you could go to this snowboarding camp and you get taught by these pro riders. That's what got me into snowboarding.
Right, okay. Yeah? I didn't know you were a snowboarder.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I love it.
I haven't been snowboarding in years, but I used to love going snowboarding. Austria.
I'm so glad I've been able to do that. Haven't done it as much. But every time I used to do shows like Pantos, when they finished, I would go snowboarding. You know,
decompress.
Yeah, and I was introduced to Neil through Snowboard Magazine UK, because I was put in touch with them by a guy called Christian Stevenson, who used to have the Rad TV show on Channel 4 and used to take skaters around and tour with them all over the States and things like that. UK skaters and things. Just amazing guy. He's now known as DJ Barbecue. He's just
yeah.
He's just totally awesome. And I've known him since I was in MN8.
Right.
Yeah, because I used to wear snowboarding boots on stage. And then he's like, oh, do you like snowboarding? And I'm like, well, I got the cool borders on PlayStation. You know, and then he just gave me advice on how to get into it because I really wanted to do it.
Well, you had the boots.
And Ruth is married to Neil McNabb, just to get to that point, right? Yeah, it's just one of the most beautiful gifts by it's the first piece of artwork I've had by somebody that I know who does art. Yeah. I've got another one here. This is one that I got from Ellen Kelly in Ireland. Can you see that?
Oh, wow. It says that I've got a little something for you.
You know, so I interchange those two pictures behind me every now and again. But that's been the most amazing piece of artwork that I've received, you know, and yeah, it's by someone that I know. Yeah, bless her.
That's pretty cool.
Ruth McNabb.
Well done, Ruth. You've made the list of top things that have been given. Anything from fans though as well. Like I was just about to say, like I've been on stage with a guest and someone had given them a taxidermied rat, in their character. So there's been some far. Yeah, I know. It's not that we want to see a taxidermied quite. But any out there gifts at all, or are the Star Wars crew keeping it real with just solid pictures and?
No, I'm just not. Fortunately, I've had nothing but love from the guys.
Yeah, no taxidermy rats.
I've had nothing but love. I've had nothing but love so far. So far, it's been pretty good.
See, I've at the celebrations, I've always been given lots of stickers and bracelets.
I get lots of patches. I love the patches.
I love it.
And the guys from Winter Eve, they know that I collect them as well. Because at some point, what I really want to do is just take loads and loads of pictures of them and just have them slide in across on my Insta or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also loved, there was a sticker book for Solo as well. And it had just some of the designs on there. You're thinking, that would be an awesome t-shirt, but other than that, I've had beautiful gifts. I had, Dave Tree. Do you know Dave Tree?
Dave, yeah.
Dave, what's up?
we love Dave.
I think is it his son or one of his younger? I think it's his son that gave me a little Quaitol site Lego figure.
Nice.
Yeah. Absolutely adore it. Don't go anywhere without it. And I got from
before we go on to that, we're shouting out Dave Tree. Make sure you go check out his store, all the cool stuff, because we need to support him as well with that. So
all the cool stuff. Dave, partner in crime, what's up? And then I had from Martin Keeler the Quaitol site figure.
Nice.
I'm cool with those things, man. Fortunately, I haven't had anything too strange, not since MN8.
Yeah, we won't talk about the things that were
bras flying on the stage.
That is the last thing you want at a Star Wars convention. Let's be some Star Wars
especially look at the fan base. You don't want any of their panties.
The majority of
Well, I don't know. I've seen a few cute little Ewoks, man. It could be all right.
Yeah, well, there we go. It's an exclusive. You've had it here, folks. But look, we can clearly see here, and we're talking, and I already know you, but for anyone that's listening, you're a fan of this stuff. You're a fan of pop culture and all of these moments. So, being in MN8, you're in this like world famous band. Things change. The group disbands, and you move into the world of acting, and then you walk onto a Star Wars set. How do you prepare for that change? And did your acting life move you? How did you get to the point where you're acting, you're into Star Wars, and then what's that kind of feeling of just going? Because you're a Star Wars, you're a New Hoper. You walk on that stage. I mean, what a rush!
Yeah, I mean, look, it's cool.
That's a long question. Sorry.
When people say, acting is a tough gig, you really have to have the skin for it.
Yeah.
Really and truthfully, you really have to have the skin for it. But then I would say that's the same, and that's the case for most things, right? But as coming out of MN8, I didn't want to do musicals. My vocal capabilities, I can do some backing vocals that sat well with the guys that were singing. I can do that and do the two notes, my baritone and a tenor or whatever. Fine, fair enough. But I'm not a lead singer. I'm not a belter. I couldn't turn around and belt out a song.
like Luther Vandross. Not that many people can, but it's that wasn't my gig. My thing was my lane was the choreography, the raps, and the styling, and holding my note and holding someone else's note while I'm on stage performing. You know, there was a proper job that I had, skill set that I had to apply to that.
And that's being part of the team. You're all working
yes,
together.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone has this important part to play that gives you.
Well, yeah. Look,
that
you know, we were
product.
inspired by New Jack Swing. So, so you're talking about Bill DeVoe, but you really go back to Guy. So you had Aaron Hall, percussion and BVs, and maybe some raps or chats. And then you had Aaron Hall, his brother, the R&B singer. Then you had Teddy Riley, who was the producer, and he would also do the vocoder or add the vocals or mix whatever he needed to make that sound right. They all had their lane. And so when MN8 started, we were called The Juice, and there was only 3 of us. And that was the package, me, G, and K, right? And that was what we were doing with R&B on top of two-step, which was before garage. So it was the first garage track technically, because it had R&B and two-step or whatever mixed. And that was blowing up. And just as it was blowing up, First Avenue came in and signed us to our deal to do this R&B album or pop R&B album. But after that, I didn't want to do musicals. I stayed away from them. I didn't want to advertise that I was doing it. I had been in MN8 because I wanted people to audition me as D rather than he's a pop star or whatever and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Later on, you kind of wish maybe I could, at least one of you could have given me a hand. But it was one of these things where I thought, well, I need to earn my place and see and do what I've been trained to do. And so I did a couple of Shakespeare plays in the West End. It was way out, kind of more Victoria. I don't think the theatre's there anymore, but did 2 pieces there because I needed that stock on my CV. Because once you have that on your CV and you start doing castings and you get into one thing or another, one, they know that you can handle the text or dialogue, and 2, it was part of that process where you heard actors were doing this and then they did Shakespeare and then they did a few little parts and then they could do some movies. It was a knock-on effect. So I was on that train just as that train was reaching a dead end, like literally round about 2000. Between 2000 and 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So everything like that was about to change. Yeah. Not the system, but COVID. And the contracts and everything else changed or whatever. And that trajectory got cut, and that wasn't how it was going to be anymore. It was going to be about, political motivations for having people in movies and things like that. And it just took over. It just. So while that's going, or building up, I'm not seeing any of that because that is just around the corner. So I'm just thinking, well, I'm acting now and stuff like that. But even before I was in the band, strange things were happening. I had an audition for MC Hammer. I met the new Power Generation.
Wow.
And both of those things kind of fell through just as MN8's contract picked up and we got signed, right? So I knew that certain things weren't impossible. Like if you wanted to do, like if there's a singer out there that thinks, oh man, I wish I was like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some female singers that I know, or a male singer, and he sees Prince out there and thinks, oh man, wow, that's going to inspire me. I want to do some Prince and whatever. I want to be a singer. You can kind of inspire people in that regard. But, coming back to that journey of what you do when you start, look, man,
from that, and in the band, you just meet strange people. You're touring with Jan. You're meeting Jimmy Jam Taylor. You're meeting Jan Jackson's mother. You're meeting Jackie Jackson. You're meeting Elton John. You're meeting Prince Charles. You're meeting all these things, and it's just okay. So by the time I get to Star Wars now, I've been trained as an actor before MN8. While I was in MN8, I was watching movies. I just loved movies. I was watching, still loving movies. That's where I want to go. You know, who knows? Someone might see me in MN8 say, oh, be in this movie. Next thing you know, I can't do a tour because I'm in movie. I mean, Bad Boys 18, you know, or something, right? But you know, my mind is thinking about all these types of things, and ending up in Star Wars was literally out of the blue, because I didn't audition for it. You know, it took someone who had seen me in Panto to mention it to Neil Scanlon, and Neil Scanlon to request me to come in. And I'm thinking it's an audition, but it's not. It's a fitting, you know, because you've been verified by someone who told him, oh, there's a guy called Dee, he can do feature stuff.
That's mad, isn't it?
You know, and then you're there, and then all of a sudden, everything that I trained to do from college, everything that I'd studied watching movies, but especially growing up watching The Muppets, watching Jim Henson's work, watching fantasy movies from Ray Harryhausen, like Clash of the Titans and all those types of things, wanting to be involved in that fantasy world. Because as a kid, you bought into it because adults were pretending with things that aren't supposed to be there, but it still looked good, and you bought the entire story as a kid, you know. And then to be in Star Wars in that situation, like I was telling you, in the cantina, it was the most natural thing to do to stay in character. You know, and that's while J.J. Abrams is in the room. You know, I'm surrounded by puppeteers who worked with Jim Henson, and some that worked on What's Up Doc, that remember me when MN8 were on.
Gosh,
Dave Chapman, right? Which is just surreal.
Yeah.
It's absolutely surreal, because you're taking it all in, but also you don't want to disappoint the opportunity that's come your way.
Yeah.
You know, because also from everything that I've wanted to do, I've prayed hard. I've prayed, you know, I've prayed with tears in my eyes, you know, and thinking, you know, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get from here to be in a blockbuster movie? How am I going to get my career started? How am I going to do this? And, you know, you just figure out the steps that are being presented to you. And I've never been a jobbing actor. So if my agent says, oh, there's something that, they want you to be in EastEnders, or they want you to audition, I'm like, EastEnders? I'm like, that's the complete opposite to everything that inspired me to want to become an actor.
Yeah.
It was blockbusters. It was Spielberg's blockbusters, George Lucas's, but also the TV. We had Buck Rogers, we had The A-Team, we had Knight Rider, we had so many cool TV shows, man.
You're just a pop culture guy, aren't you? That's what it is. You soak that stuff up, don't we? We can smell our own. We can smell our own, buddy.
Yeah, you know, but you remember what actually hit your heart, and it wasn't about the minutiae of how the mechanics of how this works, and you know, how, you know, does Kit take regular or unleaded petrol? No one cared. Dukes of Hazzard, nobody cared. Dude, I'm still blown away from seeing the making of Dukes of Hazzard and realizing it was a model that they shot over jumps.
Was it always the car?
No, I was literally blown away. I'm thinking, Fast and Furious are wasting money, man. They're just burning it, because the Dukes of Hazzard still cooks. You know, Smokey and the Bandit, Cannonball Run, you know, stick me in something like that. You know,
I can see that. Yeah, let's do it. Hollywood, if you're listening, we're rolling out some ideas here. I love that. And And so it's great to hear, like, even as a fan, you're able to keep your cool, remain professional, I suppose, as well. Like, you know, same for me. If I'm on stage and we're working, it's weird, but you know, you Ryan Reynolds, you Chris Evans are coming out on stage. We've got to bring them out at a New York Comic Con or something.
and you can't sit there like this.
Yeah, like, this way, Mr. Reynolds. So we're doing on stage. Hello, Chris Pratt, aka Star Lord. I'll just this way.
Yeah,
you know. So you just have to be very keep it cool. Just keep it cool.
But also, when it happens, you realise that the only way you're going to remember this is if you press record right here.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and it's those moments, it's those beats that give you all the energy to give 100%, whether it's in that interview, whether it's in that performance, or whether it's to that production and that crew, so that everything's plain sailing. There's good energy on set. You know, no one likes a set where the life is just sucked right out of it. You know,
I think that would be impossible on a set with you there, buddy. You are just a ray of sunshine. Anytime I've met you, you're just always hopeful and smiling, and I love that about you, man.
Well, this man, I've had plenty of time to just sit back and reflect and look back at how much stuff I've been blessed with. You know, I've got so much to be grateful for, and reaching that point where I'm like, hang on a second, I may have had posters on my wall, and then I met these people, like a string of them, and I met these people. But don't forget, you prayed from day one, you know, about this career that you wanted. And it wasn't just like empty prayers, praying for something and just wanting it. It was like, I prayed for it because that's all I can do. I don't know how to flip a burger in McDonald's. You know, someone could teach me, I'm sure, right? but you come out of high school, you come out of college, and you kind of, hopefully at some point, know where you're fitting in, what lane you're fitting into.
Yeah. And
my thing was always the performing arts. You know, given hope back in the day when you saw fame on TV. Up Leroy, I want to be that. You know, and you're knowing all the dance moves, and your parents are taking you to the live concerts at Wembley. You know, and you're being inspired, and you're thinking, well, cool, you know, so that's what you need. That's what a drama school's supposed to be like. Wow. And then you can do movies, and then you know, you just go along with this thing all the way through until you're actually there. And then when you're actually there, everything just falls into place.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'd like to say that working on Star Wars is hard work. I really would like to say that, but it's the easiest gig I've ever had in my life. I ain't lying to you. It's the easiest. Look, being on stage and delivering some Shakespeare dialogue, that's tough, you know, and you're not even the main part, you know, and you're listening to the Scottish King say his long 3-page thing, and all you have to come in and say, yes, sire. You know, and then he carries on, you know. This wasn't part of what I wanted as an actor, but it's what I wanted as enjoyment as an actor.
Yeah, I think that's we talk about, like, you talking about praying, I talk about manifesting. You know, certain things that I want in life that I think can happen and I want to go for, and you know, praying, manifesting, and you want those things, and when you get there, the journey can be hard. And I think, actually, I know you're saying working on Star Wars is the easiest thing. It's easy. It's hard work, but it's easy hard work, because that's what we're born to do, and that's what we love to do, and that's that energy that is flowing, however that is, the force, maybe some might say, you know, that hard work, that hard energy becomes easy and the best thing, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it crosses the board with every career, but I'd reference it to cosplayers. Yeah. When they turn up at these events or whatever, you know, they've made it, they've done all the hard work in making the costume. Now they've got to endure the costume. But what makes it easier is some parent and a kid running up to them and wanting to have a picture taken, or some other cosplayers saying, "Oh, let's have a group photo," you know, and all of a sudden you have this camaraderie, and no one feels the pain anymore, other than if they've made a suit that doesn't allow them to get out of it quick enough to go to the bathroom, you know. But you know, well, we have that too, right? Well, no, not so much. I mean, they make allowances, right? But
you get a special flap.
yeah, on some outfits, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
But it's when you're doing something that you love, it's not hard work. You know, and that's the thing. So many people out there love Star Wars. You know, oh, I would love to be in Star Wars. I'd love to be in Star Wars. You would love to be in Star Wars. Yes, you would. You know, there are some people out there that want to be in Star Wars and get the opportunity to be in Star Wars, like a competition winner on Rogue One. And he didn't last half an hour in the suit. You know, and Neil was mad. Neil was like, so many people that chipped in for this competition, and this guy couldn't even do half an hour. So it's not all, you know, it's not for some people, but you know, if you have a passion for something like that, you would wear that. You know, whether it's uncomfortable as a stormtrooper suit or whatever. You know, there's never been reports of a comfy stormtrooper suit.
Never, ever.
And in CFX, you know, if you're an extra, if you get to be an SA or an extra and you're wearing the stuff and you just have to walk across and stuff like that, you know, there's some little things you have to get used to with your peripheral vision and all that type of stuff. But if you're in CFX, then it could be anything at any moment, you know, and you may have only tried that outfit on just once or twice, before you're told you won't be able to see out of this head. Someone's going to be guiding you, so you're going to have an earpiece. Have you worked with an earpiece before? They don't ask you that. Yeah, and if they did, I'd just say yes. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. And it just goes like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right of making that clear. You know, if it's something that you're passionate about, it's not hard work at all. But like I said, I thought I was going to be in an action movie or something, not just part of the ensemble. You know, whether it's Ocean's 11 or whether it's a Bad Boys or whether it's something, and you think, okay, you've got to get some dialogue and do stuff like that. You get to see my face, right? You know,
beautiful face.
And then I'm blessed. Where I can be in Star Wars and be several characters in one movie. You know, and whether my name's on the screen or not, it's just like, wow, there's my name. You know, that's what I did.
I did that.
Yeah. Even though your brain's saying that don't look like you, that ain't you.
And so you've done a few of the Star Wars films, and you've got to a point now. So I know this story already, but our listeners don't. So you're at a point where they can give you a character sheet, they can show you who you're about to be, and you have the opportunity to change a character's name or have an impact on a character's name in Star Wars The Last Jedi.
No. Well, no. Because of The Last Jedi, I was able to do that on another production.
Right. Okay.
So on The Last Jedi, my character didn't have a name on set, and most of us, we don't get our names until the visual dictionary comes out,
right? Or
until the movie comes out, and you may be in the credit or you may be in the creatures and puppeteers section. And it turns out that my Abednego character, along with Paul Casey's Abednego character, both have Beastie Boys names, which are taken from either their song or something like that. So Slow and Low, that is the tempo, right? But his name is Slow and Low, Slow and and with the Acolyte, they got this character. I was called in for this character because Paul Casey was going to play this character. So it's the only two guys that played that species, and Paul couldn't do it. And so they brought me in, and they didn't know anything about the species. Yeah, they said, "Oh no, we just got it because he just looks cool." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm looking on this piece of paper. I'm looking on this piece of paper, and I said, "Which one am I?" And he said, "Oh, you're this guy." I was like, "Right, I'm gonna say this, right? You can do what you want to do, right? You can do because this is your thing, right? But all I'm saying to you now is, the last character I played, which was that species, was named after a Beastie Boys song, yeah. And it's kind of well known that J.J. Abrams names that species after a Beastie Boys song or whatever, and they're like." I'm thinking, how do you not know this? How do you not know this, right? So I just carry on. And then I said, even Paul Casey's character in The Force Awakens was Elo Nasty,
yeah.
Yes, such a cool name. And so I'm telling them all this, and they say, and
they're quickly googling it.
The writer
He
gets on his phone. He goes, "Okay, I'll have a look. And then I think it was that night he had changed the name, and the production girl was giving me a call to tell me what my time was the next day, and said, "Oh, and good news, he's changed your name to a Beastie Boys name." I'm like, yeah. And then I get there and they say it's Senator Chewant, as in, so what you want. And I'm just like, that's a win for me. I'm like, yeah.
That's pretty cool to be able to influence Star Wars like that.
You know what it is? It's kind of like
bringing the knowledge to set.
But what I realized is that after the Force Awakens, when the next production came in to film the next Star Wars thing, they weren't filled in on the procedure. So it was like they had to start all over again with the procedure of things. I'm thinking, huh? That don't make sense, right? And then it happened again. I'm thinking, oh, that's just what they do, because it's almost like they want to keep how they made it a secret. But I'm like, hang on, you're making the same product, right? They're asking the same questions, So you become aware of things like that. So when someone does have a question, or they are going off, or they are walking around saying, "Oh, what is that? How?" And you're like a geek, and you say, "Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Yeah, that's a such and such."
Ask the nerd over there; he'll know.
And they're like, "Who is that guy?"
Oh, mate, and yeah, to have that effect is pretty cool. It's pretty cool, mate.
It's cooler. It's cooler to know that I have been able to contribute to something that I grew up with, and so many people and so many mates of mine have grown up with, and we love it for all the same reasons. The stuff we grew up with, the new stuff, okay, whether you want to sit on the fence or not, whatever. It's either which way, but you're still part of this Star Wars thing that you grew up with. I still talk about the old movies more than I talk about the new ones, especially the ones I've been in. It's just like, I still don't kind of calculate that I'm in that. So yeah, that must be better than all the rest, right? I'm like, no, man, I'm still going crazy over the Revenge of the Sith, man. Ooh, that was heavy. I just have those moments. And then occasionally I'm brought back to some sense of reality when I'm watching A New Hope and 3PO saying, "Oh no, they'll take you to the spice mines at Kessel." I'm like, hey, I own that.
That's my place.
Yeah, and Han Solo saying, "I made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs," and I'm like, yeah, you had to kill me to do it though.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen. You wouldn't have happened doing that.
And also, I got to play a pike. That was a big deal for me. I got to play a droid, and I loved playing that droid. I loved playing that droid in Rogue One, even for the short time that I had in that suit. But I got to play a pike, and I knew the pikes. It was just a different ball game. Once I was in that suit and I was playing that role, especially when they gave me the keys, because the design, the cone on the back of
coming out the back,
yeah, that was removed because he was punished. Yeah, so he's on this planet out of a punishment. And also they've hidden most of the face because it was being protected by all the fumes and all the gas and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the case, because they did show the actual face in Book of Boba Fett. But you had that, and they have strange elongated limbs. Yeah, especially where their wrists are concerned and their hands. And I just got to manipulate the keys that I was holding just to represent that. But these are just micro thoughts that I'm thinking based on what I know and what I want to give to this character. My favorite bit is just before I have my butt handed to me by the Mother of Dragons. I just want to just before that happens.
That would never have actually happened, though. But you had to roll with the story, so
yeah. I didn't mind, you know. It was Amelia.
I love it.
And it was the moment where he had to close the door. I'm in this scene with Phoebe, Amelia, and Woody Harrelson, dressed in Nando's skiff gear. Dude, I had to be the biggest geek on set, and luckily my face is being hidden by the mask. just being able to geek out at that, that's Woody. That's the dude from Cheers.
Cheers,
that's where I first saw him.
Yeah,
you know, and loved him ever since. And it was that moment where I put the key in, and I'm being told by the second unit, you put the key in and the door's going to close. Yeah, so they just wanted to time it. And so when they did it and they said action, I put the key in and I turned it, and then just as it's closing and I looked. That's what I want to see in a movie. That's what I want to see in an animation. I want to see that menacing bit where he's looking at him saying, yeah, bye.
It's just that slight, isn't it? That tilt of the head, that gaze, that it could be a quick expression, it could be anything. And this is acting 101 for anyone that's listening here, because Dee's telling you this story, and you know you're on stage, you're fanboying out at the same time, but keeping it cool, and you're thinking all of these things about this character. How would they react? How would this happen? What would they do? Actually, I'm going to give that quick.
Yeah, I know what they want. I know what they want to see, because that's what I want to see, and that's what I want to see, because I know the source material. I know the product.
Yes.
yeah. So it is those, but with every single character that I have, there is something intrinsically minute that makes that character, for me, be able to perform that character. You know, I know with Slow and Low, I had about 3 or 4 different versions. I was told 3 or 4 different versions of how that character was supposed to be. So I'm like, okay, so this is how he walks, as you know, as just a beach bum. This is how he walks because he's rich and he's in this casino. This is how he gestures when he speaks because he's so wealthy. This is how he gestures because these people have been annoying by parking their shuttle on his beach or whatever. And it just boils down to me saying to Ryan, how do you see this guy? And he says, oh man, oh, he's just a hippie. I'm like, dude. And then the character was there, you know, so everything that he did, you know, and when he's dobbing in Finn and Rose, and there's that reaction, you get that kind of, whoa, man, whoa, okay, I'm backing up. It was that emotion brought through that physical action, that physical motion.
It was the snowboarder in you, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah. You know what I discovered before I went snowboarding? What I'd done at college years before, during our lunch breaks, was Tai Chi.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I loved it. Why? Because it just looked graceful, it looked cool, and then you strike this pose, and you say to the teacher, "So what's this one?" It says, "Well, this is the crane, because you're blocking a blow from up there, and you're blocking a kick from down there." And I'm like, wow, man, this is martial arts, invisible martial arts, right? Slow motion, invisible martial arts. But it wasn't until I actually went snowboarding that I realized what it did for my balance.
Right.
Yeah, because at that point I realized it had been there for my balance throughout MN8 and choreographing those routines. Yeah, but it's that center of gravity, alongside the physical training that I'd had at college, you know. And one of the other blessings, which was an accidental blessing at college, was I thought I was going to learn in performing arts, when it came to dancing, you're going to learn modern tap and jazz or something. Nope, it was contemporary. I ain't wearing tights. Right? And luckily we didn't have to. But contemporary dance was all about contraction and release, and where the movement was coming from, and if it was grounded, or if it was to emphasize an actual emotion you're trying to portray physically without any dialogue. So there was all of that was taken into account. And it was interesting because you're learning things that you're thinking you're not going to use, you know, why am I learning this and whatever, you know, and then years later it's coming back to you and you're like, that's how you got through it, because if you hadn't learned that, you wouldn't have understood how to do that.
Yeah, it's bringing all them life skills through.
Yeah, and then as an actor, I always had to be able to say my dialogue. I don't just want the controller to know the dialogue and I move to it. I have to know what that dialogue is, because the dialogue is gonna inform my body what to do. Yeah, and so when I do that and I rehearse it to the beat of what I'm saying, then the animatronic person can actually work with me and we work in tandem. Yeah. I know I'm the only one who does that. And I've had a great deal of fun with the guys doing animatronics, from Marcus Clark to Don. You know, Don, who was in Muppets Christmas Carol. He played the Ghost of Christmas Present, Ghost of Christmas Past. You know, big jolly guy, the big jolly guy. He's just like that. Don is so cool.
The Tim, right? Okay,
he's just like that. But yeah, just, and that's what I mean. I sit back sometimes and I just have to reflect on what I've been able to do with the opportunity, what the opportunity has taught me, what I've gained from that experience. You know, what it actually means to work on a multi-million-dollar set. What's expected of you. You know, is it as relaxing and as peaceful as they make out? You know, when you see the behind the scenes of Harry Potter or something, you're thinking, oh man, I wish I was there. You know, and then, you know, and then I get to meet the people that worked on it, and it's everything kind of crescendoed for me working on Star Wars as a kid. From the Sesame Street and Jim Henson people that, you know, grew up with that and worked with them on those types of things, to other people that are into Star Wars and into sci-fi, to people that just love the creative process. I mean, I'm looking at people who sculpt these amazing things, and I'm like I did StatueCon last year with Collectors Out.
Wow.
Yeah, in St. Joseph's in Michigan. right?
Yes.
And even where to have the statues, and I'm thinking, they must have sculpted that when they were making the movie and stuff like that, and then put it out there. The ones that they've been doing for Star Wars since The Force Awakens have just been put in a shed, put on the shelves and put on storage or something like that. And you're thinking, man. But that statue was incredible. And I'm sitting there
Get them out.
I'm looking at the guys who's sculpting them, and they're saying, oh, that's just to be scanned or whatever. I'm like, and then what? Can I have it? You know, it's just things like that, and noticing that John will always be photographing all the way through, but from behind the scenes, you know, and you might see they're videoing all the behind the scenes, and then you know, but you might only see 20 minutes of it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I want to see the stuff that's on the prequels DVD that went for hours and hours. I want to see that. Why are you just drip feeding me this and that? I'm not interested in that.
Give me the 10 hours behind the scenes of the 2-hour movie that I just got.
You know, and I think that's where the prequels win for me twice, because not just as movies, but on each DVD. You know, it's the most
so much content on them, wasn't there?
It has the most content. I don't think any other DVD or any franchise or anything has ever made anything with that much stuff on it. And it's just beautiful for having that stuff on it.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, and yeah, we can watch some of the 1977 kind of footage of Star Wars and the documentaries and loving on it. Like, okay, yeah. Well, any behind the scenes on the new stuff?
Any, it'll come out soon. I'm sure of it. What do you so before we wrap up, buddy? Just a couple of questions I want to ask you. There's been some talks around shifting focus on the new era, hasn't there? I don't know if you've heard, obviously with the new guard coming in at Lucasfilm and things like that. They're taking some of the films that you've worked on, the newer ones, and they're talking about like a soft reset potentially, or kind of doing something with that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I'm sure obviously any project that comes up you'd love to work on and things, but how do you feel about them talking around that?
I don't know.
And we don't know what that means yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now I'm a lot more shrewd about what I will work on. So if it's good, yeah. If it's not, no. I'm kind of right there, you know. I think all the movies that inspired me to want to become an actor, I actually own on DVD. You know, there's nothing I've seen in the past 10, 15 years that I would have wanted to be in. You know, and you couldn't have put me in a Marvel movie, you know, unless it was like for a gag or unless you wanted an extra creature or something, right? You know. But there's nothing that's really interested me. But this talk about the soft reboot or whatever, that's what I was talking about. Like, you're making these movies, and like when the first one came out and there was a bit of an uproar, I was thinking, well, we don't know where they're going with the story, so we have to see out where they're going with the story. It might flip and turn around and be like, oh, that's what they were doing, and it turned out that it was just kind of, you know. You know, and that's why, having done Solo and in Rogue One, when the Book of Boba Fett came out and they had pikes in it, and their design was based on the same design as this guy right there, that kind of cemented things for me in regards to knowing, well, at least there's still a chance that this one will still stay part of its own canon or whatever, as much as Rogue One is appreciated, right? Even though Rogue One came out to a much warmer reception, but over time, I think Solo's kind of stood its ground. But with the films, you never know, and I was never quite sure, because I've never known Lucasfilm or Star Wars to reboot anything. They don't do reboots; they just rewrite around. But if there is a soft reboot coming, I don't know. I mean, if they make it and it has an audience for it, and it starts picking up at some kind of trajectory where fans are embracing this thing or whatever, there's been a turnaround, right? Then fine, fair enough. If it's just more of the same, then you still ask the question you've been asking for years, like why?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't know the source material, or if you're just going to waste the money and blah blah, as some of the claims are coming through, I totally identify with some of those things. But it's, you know, I'm, you know, if I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on Hollywood. They're learning how to write and direct a movie anytime soon. All the movies that they knew how to write and direct are on my shelf from the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, what's happening now isn't just a Star Wars thing. It's just everything's just turning. It's like it's decaying. You know, if there is some hope out there, and if there is something brand new coming out, whatever, you know, attached to a fan-owned franchise, like I would say Star Wars is, then it's got a lot of work to do. You know, especially if it wants to be its own thing and turn things around, but be sincere to the fan base who are going to actually be the ones to watch it and put it on the map.
Yeah.
You know, anybody who doesn't understand what's going on, you know, get into it. There's tons of source material. Don't rewrite the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's great books out there, great comics. There's a lot of really good stuff, isn't there, already? There's source
material. So what's the problem? You know, are you suffering from the same thing M. Night Shyamalan suffered from when he did Avatar? You know, all that source material, and that's what we got. He made that movie. Right, to this day, that's still a statement that needs to be made. Yeah, but you only say it because you've just been seeing this trickle of so many things all being that way. And if you dig it, you dig it. Fine, okay. You know, I've got no complaints. I'll just carry on watching my DVDs. I don't stream. I don't pay for any streaming. You know, if it's an adult version of Star Wars, in terms of being slow and Game of Thronesy and whatever and stuff like that, the 12-year-old in me isn't inspired by that. The 12-year-old in me just looks at that as Downton Abbey set in space. But if there's people out there that dig it, you dig it. Fine, cool.
Yeah, horses for courses, isn't it?
You know, and if I get bored at some point and I'm thinking, you know what? I want some substance. I want some sustenance. I want to know what the minutiae is. Then I'll sit there and I'll watch it as an adult. But if I don't watch Sesame Street now as an adult, then I don't want to see Sesame Street now as an adult. You know, and it's the same thing with Star Wars and things like that. But there are people out there that do. It's finding that balance. You know, they never had that. They never had a problem with it before.
Yeah.
You know,
and I do wonder if the later films, the last three will find their audience later in time, like the prequels found their audience later in time. They came out and they were sort of widely panned, and then over time, and you referenced it yourself. You were like, oh my God, Revenge of the Sith, la 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 la. Like, you know, Hayden and Ewan are like rock stars now. At the time, those movies were a bit like, oh, this isn't Star Wars. What's happening?
Yes,
we're talking about trade,
true.
You know, trade things and stuff like that. And then suddenly, they've over time, as that audience that watched them as kids, as those kids grew up, they became more accepted. And I wonder if it's that next generation of kids that are going to come through that will then accept, you know, Star Wars is very much owned by, I think, the generation of the time, of the era. And like you said, that New Hope generation that watched it as kids and now adults. And for the best part, I know you still watch things with a child's heart because you're pure. But some of those people in it obviously grown up and older, and they kind of want to see, which is probably why Rogue One and Andor have hit because they're kind of very grown up. They're gritty and they're like, this is the Star Wars we want. But it's not the Star Wars I remember growing up as a kid. I fantasy and oh my gosh, Darth Vader what is this? This isn't great. Like, it's fantasy in space, isn't it? And so
there's this thing where, you just can't ignore the kids. You just can't forget about the kids because what you want. It's almost like what people realize when they become parents. It's not about you anymore. It's about the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some of us don't do that with movies. They want it for them.
yeah. Well, I mean, in that respect, I mean, it's like the entertainment. It's like what a child watches. That's down to the parent and stuff like that. Always has been, always will be, right? To a certain point. But it's kind of like when you're introducing them to Marvel. Yeah, you say, well, this is one you got to watch first. This is blah, 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 and then they understand the thing. Yeah, there's Star Wars has that. This is what you can watch first, blah, blah. Or you can watch this one and it kind of puts everything together for you so you can jump in and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Introduction to it. There are all of those baby steps for it. I think for the soft reboot, it can happen. There's a part of me that says either it can happen or it doesn't need to happen because they can write their way around it. Yeah. Lucasfilm have always been able to pride themselves on writing themselves around anything that they've missed or that's been pointed out or something that they've got planned to drop later on. It's salvageable, especially when they're still making or they're still concerned about introducing products with the young Luke Skywalker in it. Yeah, and maybe some of the other young characters and stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know, but Luke is very, very prominent. Whether they'll have Han and Leia at some point as younger characters and stuff, but I think that's the avenue that Solo gives you. Yeah. To the point where, if you need to start merging the faces with CGI and stuff like that, fine, fair enough if you're doing it already. But I think that era is very open for live action Clone Wars, which is what we got with Mando season 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and those snippets in Ahsoka as well with
yes,
with her
it's just live action, it's just live action Clone Wars, and that stuff. I still love that stuff to this day.
Yeah,
I
think with Filoni in charge.
Yeah, there's it has potential. It has potential. Add what's the other guy's name?
Favreau, John.
Yeah,
Favreau.
add Favreau, and it's just like, that could be hot.
Could be a thing.
Yeah, but I think it's not even. I think it's more of an issue than. I think it's less of an issue than people making out, because they can just stop right there and give you all of the stuff in between, from Ahsoka to possibly Mando. We're not sure how the audience is going to react to all the new stuff. But you've got what's the new one coming out, or the new one they finished making with Ryan Gosling?
Oh, a Starfire.
So you've got these things coming out that may kind of be able to branch certain parts of that era, and so you can maybe have a slow creep, and while you're having that slow creep, maybe find a way of mending those three. Yeah. The best thing they could do, would be like in Dallas. It'd be like it was a dream.
Han Solo wakes up. Oh, Ben.
yeah. Oh, they didn't kill me off. You know what I mean? But I think there's so much stuff in between. Like, regardless of whether what people are thinking, what's coming next. Man, I've got to put on one of them old movies and one of those old animations. I don't care what's coming next. but there is this thing. I understand the audience have this thing about, oh, a what if scenario. You know, I was kind of confused when the what if scenario of Batman v Superman was made into a movie, you know, and made from Frank Miller's point of view, being a Batman fan. You know, I didn't like what they did to Superman. Right? Or sorry, what they did to Henry, man. Got so much, you know, but that story. But it's this thing, you know, what if? And yeah, what if you do that and it still doesn't work?
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I would like to see them leave the films as they are. And if they can soft reset and move around, and like you say, interweave some younger stories and branch out, you know, Finn's story, John Boyega, like, you know what? There's so much to be mined from those films.
You know what? When they, if you still kept them and they popped up in other movies, you could change the rhetoric of how they see their journey and how their journey ended, so that it didn't mean what people saw it meaning at the end of a movie.
In that one linear thing, you've got those kind of ebbs and swells.
You know, running into John Boyega and whatever, and then, you know, some way, somehow, just accidentally he uses the Force. You know, and then he's saying, well, you know, he talks about things that we didn't see, his conversations with Rey, you know, and blah blah. Look,
which would then change
I can write it in my sleep.
Lucasfilm, you're listening? We've got scripts. They're being written while Dee's asleep.
You know, but you know, you could do that. And while you're doing that, you know, there will be people grumbling, but hopefully they'll be more concerned with all the new stuff you're giving them, based on whether Luke's in it or whatever, but also whether the content is good and whether the content fits with, you know, this linear story, you know, which you would start with anybody who says to you, okay, I know there's a lot of Star Wars, which one do I watch first? You know, I mean, there is hope. Yeah.
Like what
you know, rebellions were built on hope.
They were.
So it does it. If you have hope for it working and coming through, then there's a good chance that may happen. But you know, as a company going through what they're going through and their changes and letting people go and all this type of stuff, I'm not too worried about who you're letting go. I'm worried about who you're hiring to write and direct, you know, and whether they actually know Star Wars, actually like Star Wars. Because, you know, it used to be cool when an actor says, oh yeah, I'm playing the superhero role, I don't know anything about it, but you're so good. Oh yeah, I don't know anything about it. Used to be cool. Now people want some reassurance, want some insurance. Do you know the character? Yeah.
You read a comic? Come on.
Yeah. You know, and I don't know. I think there's a chance of there being a slight chance of hope, and it comes from another franchise, and it comes from what Marvel are doing with Doom. Before they even started filming, there was hope, because they said they didn't want Disney involved in or interfering with any aspect of it.
Right.
The way they've been implementing their bits and pieces into everything else. And so from that, you're thinking, okay, cool. I'm not nervous about the Russos. They say, well, they haven't had much success after they did Endgame and everything else sucked. And it's like, yeah, because they weren't doing a comic book movie. Yeah, they haven't had any terrible comic book movies. So let's just stick with that track record.
Go with what they're really good at.
You know, you got Downey Jr. And they want to make a bigger deal about how much he's being paid than what security that money is ensuring for the cast and the crew while they make this thing. If they can make something and put it out there, you know, and it's how the majority would like it to be, yeah, then there's hope. Yeah,
I think you're right. With regardless of taking money off the table, bringing some of these people back that are coming back, they wouldn't come back if they didn't believe in these.
That's
projects.
right. That's right. And you know, and if there's that, if it gets that kind of reaction, then you know, the people who love Star Wars as much as myself, you know, will be like really eager and waiting to see what the new Star Wars thing's going to be, you know, let alone whether they want me involved or want any of the CFX guys that I know involved in it and stuff like that. It's just like, well, what are you doing? What do you want to go with this? But then also, you know, it has its other production levels in terms of things have changed production wise within the CFX department. The CFX department aren't hiring the actors and performers anymore. During COVID, the contract was changed, and now all the CFX performers have to go through an extras agency.
Right.
Yeah, for less pay and all kinds of stuff and whatever. I've been fortunate that I've had contracts because of the parts that I've played. But it hurts me to see my fellow colleagues going through that and enduring that just so that, you know, what they don't make on this, they might be able to make on a signing or something. And it's a little bit tough like that. But I've always said that I was a guest in their industry, because everybody that I was working with was already doing CFX for some time or whatever. I'm just an actor that's been fortunate enough to be able to be allowed to wear these suits, and have something interesting to contribute. But yeah, there's a lot that needs to change within the industry, you know.
Right.
And until those things start changing and we start watching sunshine on the screen, you know, we still got our old stuff, man. We still got our old stuff.
We still got DVDs and Blu-rays. Dee, man, thank you so much for popping on with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you again, my dude. We mustn't leave it so long next time as well. Just, you know, in the personal world, that not podcast.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We need to go hang out at a gaming festival again, because Dee's
we've got to do
done
that.
voices on games and things as well. So, you know, we'll pick up on another podcast and we'll talk some more about all of that stuff as well, pal. So
we got to reunite at some of these conventions.
we have, yes, yeah. Well, I'm going to put you in touch with some people. Let's do it. We need to catch up with Samantha as well. I haven't seen her in ages.
Oh, bless her. Yes, she's going to be at this. I'm doing this event in Scotland.
I'll go for it. Yeah,
on the 21st and the 22nd of February.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Capital Sci-Fi Con.
I've heard of those guys. Yeah,
and the biggest thing about it is that it's for this charity called CHAS, Children's Hospice Association Scotland. That's what sold me, you know, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a beautiful event. Sam's going to be there. Kevin McNally's going to be there. Pirates Caribbean. so I'll be fanboying out. I'll be fanboying all day.
Mate, well, there you go. If you're knocking around up in Bonnie, Scotland, go and catch the Capital Sci-Fi as well. And dude, I'll catch up with you soon. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. Yeah.
See ya.
Peace.
Hi, peace. Once again, thank you so much, Steve, for coming on with me today. It's been a pleasure, as always. I love hanging out with you, dude. And don't forget, if you are listening to this and you've enjoyed the podcast, please do me an absolute solid. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. And hey, if you can see your way to giving it a share, I'd really appreciate it. So until next time, I'll see you all on the next episode of Beyond the Comic Con.